Hey everybody, Timothy from Sharp 11 Transcriptions here, as you probably know by now. Today we're gonna take this Zarabeth solo thingy apart and we'll be analyzing it, or I'll be analyzing it as best as I can. And hopefully as clearly as I can. I'll be playing a little bit through it, and I'm not gonna play along with the solo like I did with the Julian Lodge transcription. I still have to get everything up to speed, but a recording and a video is coming. I just have to practice some more. I will be showing the examples as I'm talking about them. As always, if you have some questions about what I'm talking about, please do let me know. If my ramblings aren't clear or anything, just leave a comment or whatever, just let me know. Today is only gonna be analysis and some, well, more theory stuff. And tomorrow I'm gonna post a video on how you can practice this thing technically. So really getting it under your fingers, getting it up to speed, some exercises, some strategies mainly about how you can approach this, so look out for that. I think I said everything I had to say about this little introduction, so without further ado, let's jump in. I tried a little different approach this time, using slides and some fancy schmancy things, but I got my slides in like a weird order, so if some things on screen are like glitchy and jumpy and that don't really make any sense, it's because of that, so just bear with me. I try to make it as clear as I can. Alright. Zarabeth, what the floopsy is going on? I'm gonna skip through the solo a little bit. I'm not gonna discuss every line or every little thing. We're mainly gonna focus on the lines that really make you wonder, like, what the hell is going on. So, cool, let's get started. So obviously when he first starts, it's just a B flat major 7, and then what we see here is the second bar, third bar. I'm not sure, I cut off the bar number there, but it's... and that's pretty obviously a diminished thing, like C diminished. Whenever there's something like this, diminished, we're gonna see that something like that at the ending as well. So in C, flat third, major third, the fifth, the tritone, and the flat third again. And then we have this, which is whole tone, just. And then he goes into this D augmented. This next thing, he plays this F, and I notated a 25th fret, but I have to take a guitar which has 24 frets, and I just bend. This would be the 24th fret, which sounds a little terrible at the moment, so I have to bend it up half a step. So that's how I do it. And then we come to the next part. Yeah, this is, I think, from this Messiaen mode 3. And this is something that occurs or recurs quite a bit in these weird lines of his. And it's something I will discuss in more detail at the end. But I think this is what's going on. So I have like these first 2 bars. This is a simplified notation of the line, by the way. So I think this is all part of that one mode. And then you have again this little diminished pattern. So any time you see like these symmetrical things, you can transfer from string to string, and one skip of a string, that's usually diminished. I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna talk about this Messiaen thing further on. So after this line, minor pentatonic, nothing fancy. And then we have a very cool Dorian line, actually. Sorry. So C minor, 7, F7, whatever, you can use this perfectly. Little E flat major 7 arpeggio. C minor to the 13, so the A natural. It's an F triad. Yeah. Stays in that thing. And then we're in E Dorian. You just add some chromatic filler notes. And it's cool because that chromatic, that major 7 is an accented note, so that gives it a slight feeling of, ooh, what's going on here? Then we skip ahead a little and we come to this thingy. If you order these notes, you get the second bar. And if you order them a second time, you get this. And I wrote B flat Aeolian, and that's just wrong. It's B flat Dorian. Very cool. Which he then slides over. And this is a E flat triad. He uses these kind of things a lot. So this is one pattern, one shape. And he plays that exact same shape or pattern on a different string set. So this is a D flat triad. And back to an E flat, so it's kind of like a triad pair. It's very cool. And he plays this all over B flat minor 7, so it's all B flat Dorian sounds. then he takes the same concept, but he uses different intervals. So these are minor thirds. And then here he goes to fourths, which gives it a more open sound and a more ambiguous sound. But if you order those notes again, you get so it's a G minor pentatonic scale in fourths. It's kind of like playing. And then he goes into it's kind of the same, but not really. He gets rid of this, or he adds this A. So you get this sus2 sound. And this is a bitch of a fingering. I think he plays it like this. He could have played. It's possible to play it. So it's the same notes, but I think he played. It's really an annoying place to get it pull off clean with this kind of stretch. And then he just scooches it over one fret. And then we get another what the hell line. So here's the line. And here's a simpler version. It's the same notes, the same order, but it's a simplified rhythm. This thing, if you take away the doubled notes, you get this. Which in itself doesn't make much sense. But again, we're gonna order them from lowest note to high. And as I wrote above it, I think it's again Messiaen mode 3, but incomplete. So we have one note missing, and that would be the G. This would be Messiaen mode 3 on A. Well, I'm gonna go further still into Messiaen mode 3 towards the end if we've come to one particular line, so I can like sum up everything. So this would be starting on A. This would be incomplete, like you see the minor third there at the end between the F and the G sharp. There would be a G in between still. That would be the complete mode 3, like we can see here. And obviously Alan plays a lot with this. So the notes all fit, there's just one note missing from the scale. So I'm pretty convinced it's that mode 3. Then moving on. So we have had this this is all, once again, just whole tone thing. And then here. That's E flat melodic minor. He does this a lot too, this kind of fingering for a scale to have this double. Although he doesn't play a double note in this example, but it is that fingering to have this he does the same in a couple of different places, like here. He does the same thing here. Now, probably my favorite part from the entire solo, this thing I posted yesterday on Lens. There's a lot of augmented stuff going on, like this first thing. B major 7 sharp 5. Sharp 5, major 7. But then, what the hell? What the hell, what the hell? Okay, back to augmented. That's what this is. It's an augmented a major 7 sharp 5 arpeggio, just an arpeggio. Once again, with these doubled things, doubled notes. It's all still the arpeggio. If you have the augmented scale, like for example in B, you would have it's a very simple scale actually. You have the augmented triad, so B, D sharp and G, and every note of the triad has its own like guide note, like its own leading note. So B, D sharp would be B, D natural, D sharp, and then F sharp, G, and then A sharp, B. And that's basically what's happening here. Here's a G major triad, but you can get a G, it's a symmetric scale, so in the scale you have B major, you have G major, and you have E flat major. Where's my E flat? It's also a very common thing in classical composition. It's also giant steps. If you take away all the secondary dominants, third relations, but it's also all of that is contained within that augmented scale. Sorry. All just one big arpeggio. Then comes a interesting turn. That is a F major triad with an added flat 6. E flat triad. And if we, I'm gonna show you this on piano, so if we play those notes in that order, and we hold them, then we can see it's actually B flat melodic minor. So 9, flat 3, 5, major 7, 13, 11, root. And here we are once again in, I was gonna say B flat Dorian, but this time it is B flat Aeolian because we have an F sharp. So, the beginning of this thing. I tried giving it one explanation with this A jazz dominant thing. It's something that Alan calls jazz dominant, but it's like if you have, it's like the bebop scale that sometimes people say. So an A, it would be an A Mixolydian scale with an added major 7. So that would be a possibility, or that would explain. C sharp diminished as well. That wouldn't really explain the A, the A. That would be an A sharp. But I think once again it's Messiaen mode 3, and the G sharp would be the anomaly in that scale. So I think it's that. You can be sure, I'm not Alan. It's my most educated guess at the moment. Maybe if you ask me the same thing to analyze within a year, maybe I will have a different opinion in 2020, but right now this is the best I can come up with. Okay, so this thing. It obviously has to do with some type of B minor pentatonic. And then this thing, I would not overthink this. I see these as just chromatic enclosures of the D, and then basically everything from this C sharp to A, it's just a little sequence of down a step, up half a step, down a whole step, up half a step. Until he lands on this G. if you think about this being in D major, because he plays a pretty solid D major triad, even with a major 7 and a 9, so then this would be a D major with an added flat 6 or sharp 5, whatever you want to think. This is one of those scales he uses. If you watch his little instructional DVD when he talks about scales, it's one of those scales that he finds useful. Again, the same with the jazz dominant scale. So it's plausible that that's what he's thinking. And with this thing, the C sharp, I would, if you play this as a hammer-on from nowhere, so I think that's what he does. And this is a little a little modification I made in the transcription to go back this way on just one string, and I think I wrote it, but I don't think that's what he did. In terms of playability, this sounds more accurate. You can hear him like sliding somewhere around here, so I think this is probably closer to what it was. Then we have this whole here we have another example of this is also a figure he uses a lot in his solo. It's an enclosure. Oops. Then I'm gonna skip ahead a little. We of course have this kind of thing. It's cool, it's fast, but it's not really complicated. It's just this this pentatonic, B-flat pentatonic thing, which he then transfers into this B-flat Dorian sound. So this A-flat becomes a G. And so on and so forth. The rest is pretty inside. And then we get to the last bit of the solo. Oh no, there's one thing that might... there's this... again, the chromatic enclosures, like the... It's a very typical sound. That's really something that perks my ears up when I hear Alan play. Like these, it's probably something that perks everybody's ears up when Alan plays. So again, same thing. And here it's a harmonic minor. And then we get to the final part, which is this thing. Once again, the scale thing with the doubled notes, kind of like a false fingering for saxophone. Just a B-flat major scale. But he shifts it over once again, very convenient for your left hand, but hey, gotta do something till bingo. This is, again, as I mentioned in the beginning of this video, it's all diminished. It's all part of that one diminished scale. It's also something Sean Lane talks about. He doesn't play these diminished shapes on the 4th string though, he plays this. But that note is also of the diminished scale, as well as this one. The only note that doesn't belong in there is the B natural at the beginning. But I think it made more sense to go. Instead of who cares that the B is there instead of the A natural, so it's more the overall sound, so we're gonna ignore that note. And then we get to the end again with this faked F. Some D flat major 7 sound. Okay, so this Messiaen mode 3, what the hell is going on there? If you're not familiar with these Messiaen modes, they're these well, modes of limited transposition. They're symmetrical scales, which Messiaen came up with. It includes like the whole tone scale, the diminished scale that most of us know, but it also has like these really weird things, like mode number 3. This mode 3, it's made up of whole step, half step, half step, whole step, half step, half step, whole step, half step, half step. I see it like the first 3 notes of a minor scale, which repeats every major third. So it repeats on, in this case, on B, D sharp or E flat, and on G. So B, C sharp, D, E flat, F, G flat, G, A, B flat. So whole step, half step, yeah. Whole step, half step, half step, whole step, half step, half step, whole step, half step, half step. And this is like covering one entire area of the neck. You could also play this starting on the 3rd string and go up, but yeah, whatever, it doesn't matter. So that's Messiaen mode number 3. Now in this mode there are many different chord types hidden within it. If you would take a look at this, basically all these chords, and these are just like stacks of thirds, so not even if you do like sus thingies, so it's just triads and 7 chords, but you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 of them, but they repeat every major thirds. So you have the same thing on D sharp, starting on D sharp or E flat, and the same thing on G. So all these chord qualities are in this single scale. And this is that infamous thing that a lot of these weird Holdsworth lines come from. In this particular solo, probably in other solos as well. I haven't. That's something I have to figure out, but it is apparently something that Holdsworth did check out, these Messiaen modes, and apparently also these Slonimsky things. And they do explain a lot of this weirdness. So you have B diminished, B minor, B major, B sharp 11, B augmented, B minor 7 flat 5, B minor 7, B dominant, B diminished, B minor major 7, B major 7, and B major 7 sharp 5. And this is, of course, that thing which he played over the B flat pedal in the middle of the solo. So that is the whole explanation about that Messiaen mode.